The room is quiet, not the peaceful kind of quiet, the kind where you can hear your own thinking too clearly. The light from your phone is the only thing moving in the room. Your thumb drifts slowly across the screen. Video, post, comment, scroll, repeat. You're not really watching anything. You're just delaying the moment where you have to sit with the thought that's been following you all day. You said you would start today. You said it last night, actually. You remember the exact moment, the small surge of determination while lying in bed. That calm, confident promise you made to yourself. Tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow you'll get up early. Tomorrow you'll start the thing you've been putting off. Tomorrow you'll prove to yourself that you're capable of more than this. And when the alarm went off this morning, you believed it for about 30 seconds. Then the same quiet negotiation happened. 5 more minutes. Just today, you'll start tomorrow. Now it's the end of the day again, and the thing you planned to begin is still sitting there, untouched. Your mind tries to soften it. You tell yourself you were busy. You tell yourself you needed rest. You tell yourself tomorrow will be the real start. But there's another voice underneath all of that, quieter, more honest, and it's asking a harder question. How many tomorrows have there already been? Because the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. You know exactly what to do. The problem is that somewhere along the way, you stop trusting yourself to show up and do it. And that has nothing to do with motivation. It has everything to do with something much deeper. The discipline of showing up daily. Most people think the reason they keep starting over is because they lack discipline. But that explanation is too simple, too surface level. Because you have shown discipline before. You've stayed up late studying for something important. You've worked hard when the pressure was high. You've pushed yourself when someone else was counting on you. You're not incapable of discipline. The real issue sits somewhere else. It's hidden inside the way you quietly see yourself now. At some point, maybe slowly, maybe all at once, you began carrying a small private belief. Not something you say out loud, something you feel. That belief sounds like this: I'm the kind of person who falls off. You don't start with that belief. You build it. You build it the first time you abandon a routine you were excited about. Then the second time, then the fifth, then the 10th. Eventually your brain starts keeping score. Every broken promise becomes data. Not dramatic data, quiet data. Evidence that the version of you who plans things is not always the version of you who follows through. So the next time you get excited about a new goal, something subtle happens. You still feel motivated, but underneath the motivation, there's hesitation, because a part of you remembers the pattern, and patterns shape identity. That's the real trap. You're not stuck because you lack information. You're stuck because the story you've quietly built about yourself now expects inconsistency. And expectations shape behavior more than motivation ever will. Look at the pattern more closely. You download the fitness app again. 4th time this year. You scroll through the workouts, save a few routines, maybe even buy the better version with the extra features. The first week feels good. You follow the plan. You check the boxes. There's energy in the air. That feeling that maybe this time it will stick. Week 2 gets a little messy. Work gets busy. You miss a day, then another. You tell yourself it's fine. You'll get back to it Monday. Monday becomes next week. Next week becomes silence. And the app stays on your phone like a quiet reminder of another thing you meant to become. Now think about the project you keep talking about. The idea that still lives in the Notes app on your phone. You've opened that document dozens of times. You've written the first paragraph 3 different ways. You've imagined what it would feel like to finish it. But somehow the work keeps sliding forward. Next weekend, next month, next season. 18 months later, the idea is still there. Waiting, but not moving. And then there's the version of this that cuts deeper. The one that has nothing to do with goals or projects. It's the relationship you have with your own word. The quiet promises you make to yourself. I'll start tomorrow. I won't keep doing this. I'm done making the same mistake. Those promises matter. But every time you make one and don't follow through, something small breaks. Not in the outside world. Inside, self-trust cracks quietly. And when self-trust cracks, showing up gets harder. Because part of you no longer believes you will. Here's the shift most people never make. They keep trying to fix their behavior. New routines, new systems, new bursts of motivation. But behavior is not the real starting point. Identity is. You don't consistently do something because it's on your to-do list. You consistently do something because it's part of who you believe you are. Someone who runs doesn't debate whether to run. Someone who writes doesn't debate whether to write. Someone who keeps their word doesn't negotiate with their commitments. Not because they're superhuman, because their identity makes the decision automatic. Right now, you've been trying to change your behavior without changing the way you see yourself. You're trying to install discipline on top of an identity that still believes you're inconsistent. That's like trying to build a house on unstable ground. It might stand for a moment, but it won't hold. So the real work is different. You're not trying to become more motivated. You're becoming someone who shows up whether motivation is there or not. And that identity changes everything. Because once you see yourself that way, showing up is no longer a question. It's just what you do. There are three lies that keep people stuck in the cycle of restarting. The first sounds reasonable. I'll start when things calm down. But life rarely calms down. There will always be work. There will always be noise. There will always be reasons to delay. Waiting for calm is just another form of postponing responsibility. The second lie sounds more personal. I just need to get my motivation back. Motivation is unstable. It rises quickly and disappears just as fast. If your consistency depends on motivation, your progress will rise and fall with your mood. And moods are unreliable leaders. The third lie feels harmless. It's just one missed day. But the missed day isn't the real issue. The real issue is the pattern that follows. One missed day makes the next one easier, and the next, and the next, until the routine quietly disappears. Consistency doesn't collapse in dramatic moments. It erodes slowly, one compromise at a time. If you want to rebuild the discipline of showing up daily, you don't need a complicated plan. You need a structure that respects reality. First, lower the entry barrier. The mistake most people make is starting too big. 2 hours at the gym, a massive writing session, a complete overhaul of their life. The brain resists big change and instead shrink the commitment. 10 minutes, one page, one focus block. Showing up matters more than intensity. Second, remove the daily negotiation. Same time, same place, same starting point. Predictability lowers resistance. When the routine becomes automatic, discipline requires less energy. Third, track presence, not performance. At the end of the day, ask one question. Did I show up? Not, did I perform perfectly? Not, did I achieve the outcome? Just, did I show up? Because repetition builds identity. Fourth, protect the chain. Every day you show up becomes evidence. Evidence that you keep your word. Evidence that the story about you is changing. That chain matters. Not because streaks are magical, because patterns shape identity. And identity shapes everything else. Slow down for a moment. Look honestly at your life. Where have you stopped trusting your own word? Where have you been saying tomorrow for longer than you want to admit? And if someone followed you quietly for the next 30 days, what would your actions say about the person you are becoming? Not the person you want to be, the person your behavior proves. Those questions aren't comfortable. They're not supposed to be. But clarity lives inside uncomfortable honesty. Consistency is not dramatic. It's repetitive. You don't lose discipline overnight. You lose it one excuse at a time. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you become harder to defeat. And every time you break it, the opposite happens. This is not about productivity. It's about integrity. Your relationship with your own promises. Because the truth is simple. You can rebuild almost anything in your life. Your habits, your body, your work. But rebuilding self-trust begins in one place. Showing up again and again and again. And not because it feels exciting, not because anyone is watching, but because you decided that your word matters. And when that decision becomes real, when it shows up in your actions every day, something inside you stabilizes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop restarting your life every few months. You build quietly, daily, deliberately. Until one day you notice something different. You don't feel like someone trying to change anymore. You feel like someone who already did. And the sentence that once lived quietly in your mind, "I'm the kind of person who falls off," is replaced by something stronger, something earned, something real. You are the kind of person who shows up every day,